20 forgotten vegetables medieval farmers grew that need to come back. What if the most powerful nutrient-packed vegetables are the ones we've completely forgotten? Grown by medieval farmers, these 20 superfoods once fed kings and saved lives. Yet today, most people wouldn't recognize them. From sweet roots to wild greens, it's time to rediscover the lost flavors that once ruled the garden. Salsify. Let's uncover one of medieval Europe's strangest and most surprising vegetables, salsify. At first glance, it doesn't look like much. It's a scraggly brown root that could easily be mistaken for something you'd toss aside. But don't judge it by its rough exterior, because on the inside, salsify is a true delicacy. Back in the day, this humble root was a winter kitchen hero. What made it special was its flavor, surprisingly similar to oysters. That made it perfect for religious fasting days when meat and fish were off the table. Monks, nuns, and devout households across Europe leaned on salsify as a go-to food during long, cold seasons when options were limited. And unlike many other vegetables, it didn't mind the cold one bit. In fact, you could dig it up right from the frozen ground, making it a reliable source of nourishment when fields were barren and pantries were bare. Cooks loved it, not just for its taste, but for its versatility. Salsify could be boiled, mashed, roasted, or even creamed into soups. It blended beautifully with herbs and butter and made an elegant dish out of the simplest ingredients. Though it looked uninviting, it delivered a flavor and texture that rivaled more expensive fare. Think of it as the medieval version of comfort food with a gourmet twist. Over time, as global trade brought in new vegetables and seafood became easier to access, salsify lost its place on the menu. But it still grows, waiting to be rediscovered by modern gardeners and food lovers. Maybe it's time we bring back this oyster-flavored root and give it the spotlight it once enjoyed. Alexander's. Brought to Britain by the Romans, Alexander's didn't wait for an invitation. It made itself right at home, thriving along roadsides, cliffs, and garden edges without asking for care or attention. It was the ultimate freelance vegetable, popping up wherever it pleased, and always ready to lend its flavor to the kitchen. What made Alexander's so beloved back then was its amazing versatility. Every single part of the plant could be eaten, from the roots deep in the soil to the seeds high up on its tall stalks. Its flavor? Think of something between parsley and celery, but with a bolder, earthier punch. People cooked the stems like celery, tossed the flowers into fresh salads, and even used the seeds as a stand-in for pepper. The leaves brought a sharp, herbal note to soups and stews. In an age when spices were expensive and hard to get, Alexander's filled the gap beautifully. Standing up to 6 feet tall and crowned with bright yellow blooms, it didn't just feed people, it also helped the garden by attracting bees and other pollinators. For centuries, this plant had a place in every kitchen garden. But like many great things, Alexander's quietly faded from the spotlight. By the 1700s, celery, with its crunchier texture and milder flavor, took over. Alexander's was pushed aside and nearly forgotten. Yet today, it still grows wild in many places, waiting to be rediscovered. Skirret. Once a cherished staple in medieval gardens and royal kitchens, this slim, white root was the quiet hero of its time. Skirret wasn't just food, it was a lifeline. Unlike today's high-maintenance vegetables that need constant care, skirret was incredibly low effort. Farmers would plant it and simply let it be. Beneath the surface, the roots multiplied like magic, offering a dependable supply of sweet, nourishing food with barely any work. Think of it like nature's underground pantry, always stocked and ready. But skirret didn't just survive, it thrived on taste. Naturally sweeter than modern carrots or even parsnips, this root earned fans in high places. Royalty loved it so much, they insisted it be grown in palace gardens. That's right. This humble veggie had a VIP pass to the royal table. And beyond the noble fanfare, it had real value for everyday folks. During the harsh winters when other crops failed, Skirret kept growing strong. Old texts even called it the comfort of the poor man's table. It was reliable, filling, and sweet. What more could you ask for? Medieval cooks got creative with it too. Roasted, boiled, stewed, even baked into pies. Skirret was like the potato of the Middle Ages, long before potatoes hit European soil. Its versatility was unmatched. Good King Henry. Despite its royal-sounding name, no one really knows who named it or why. But what we do know is this. For centuries, this plant was a cherished favorite all across Europe. It was the kind of vegetable you could count on, season after season. No fuss, no pampering, just good, reliable food that came back year after year like an old friend. Compared to modern spinach, Good King Henry packed more nutrition and asked for far less attention. It wasn't delicate or picky. You didn't have to replant it every spring. Once it took root, it came back on its own, thriving in corners of cottage gardens, alongside fences, or even in rough patches of soil. And it wasn't just the leaves that people used. The young shoots were often cooked and eaten like asparagus, while the larger leaves made a great spinach substitute in pies, soups, and stews. Even the flower buds were enjoyed much like broccoli. But Good King Henry wasn't only food, it also played a role in medieval medicine. Herbalists valued it for its ability to soothe digestion and ease skin issues, making it both a pantry staple and a trusted remedy. It truly was a plant of many talents. So what happened? As farming became more industrial and new varieties of vegetables became popular, humble greens like this faded into the background. But Good King Henry is still out there, quietly growing, waiting for someone to bring it back to the table. Scorzonera. Don't let the name fool you. Scorzonera might sound like a medieval illness, but it was actually one of the most prized root vegetables in Europe for centuries. Sweet, nutty, and surprisingly versatile, Scorzonera earned a spot in monastery gardens across the continent, where it was cultivated with care and used in both cooking and healing. It wasn't just a vegetable, it was a trusted remedy and a gourmet ingredient all rolled into one. Nicknamed Black Salsify, due to its dark, rough skin, Scorzonera was more than meets the eye. Peel back the surface, and you'd find a tender white root with a rich, nutty flavor, somewhere between artichoke and parsnip. Cooks loved it for its ability to hold up in all kinds of dishes. Whether boiled, sautéed in butter, or roasted alongside meats, Scorzonera added depth and sweetness that elevated even the simplest meals. But this root wasn't just food. It was also believed to fight off venomous bites, especially from snakes. That's where its name comes from. Scorzone is Italian for viper. In medieval times, it was considered a go-to cure for snake bites and other poisons. Whether or not it worked as advertised, it definitely earned its place in herbal medicine. Another bonus, Scorzonera stored beautifully. In an age before refrigeration, that mattered. It could be harvested in the fall and kept for months without spoiling, making it a crucial food source during the colder months. Which of these forgotten vegetables surprised you the most, and would you try growing it yourself? Medlar. Now here's a fruit with a reputation that's both odd and fascinating. The medlar. It may not win any beauty contests, and at first bite, it might even seem like a mistake. But back in the Middle Ages, this strange little fruit was a seasonal favorite. Why? Because unlike most fruits that are best when fresh and crisp, the medlar had to rot before it was ready to eat. That's right. Fresh off the tree, medlars were hard, sour, and downright unpleasant. But give them time. Let them sit in a cool, dark place and go through a natural softening process called bledding, and something magical happened. The tough skin wrinkled, the flesh turned soft and rich, and the flavor transformed into something unforgettable, like a warm spoonful of cinnamon-laced applesauce with hints of dates and wine. In medieval kitchens, medlars were a winter treat. People used them in pies and tarts, turned them into thick jellies, or even fermented them into fruit wine. Their long shelf life made them ideal for the colder months, when fresh fruit was scarce. And despite their unappetizing looks, they were considered a delicacy among nobles and common folk alike. Today, though, medlars have almost vanished from markets. Modern shoppers, used to picture-perfect produce, walk right past them, unaware of the treasure they're missing. But for those willing to wait, to let time work its magic, medlars offer a taste of the past that's both unusual and deeply satisfying. It's proof that sometimes the best things come after a little patience and maybe a bit of rot. Chickweed. Let's talk about a tiny plant that once played a big role in medieval life, chickweed. These days, most people yank it out of their gardens without a second thought. It's dismissed as just another weed. But back in the Middle Ages, chickweed was anything but unwanted. In fact, it was considered a gift from nature, a free, fast-growing source of food and medicine that popped up just when people needed it most. You didn't have to plant chickweed. It showed up on its own, growing wild in fields, along paths, and between garden rows. And instead of wasting time trying to fight it, medieval folks did something smarter. They harvested it. Chickweed grows year-round, even during the cold months when other greens vanish. It was a lifesaver, especially in winter, offering a fresh dose of green when fresh food was hard to come by. And it wasn't just filler, it was full of nutrients, especially vitamin C, which helped ward off scurvy and kept people healthier during long, harsh winters. It had a mild, slightly sweet taste that made it perfect in soups, stews, and salads. Both peasants and nobles ate it, making it one of the rare plants that crossed class lines. Beyond the kitchen, chickweed was also used medicinally. It soothed skin irritations and reduced inflammation, earning it a place in medieval herbal remedies. It was food and medicine, all in one, and it cost nothing. Welsh onions. Despite the name, Welsh onions are neither from Wales nor true onions, but they were absolute champions in medieval gardens. These hardy green-stemmed plants quietly earned their place at the center of winter survival, providing flavor, nourishment, and reliability when little else could. And the best part? You only had to plant them once. These were perennials, which meant they came back year after year. No replanting, no fuss. Welsh onions look a bit like scallions, with long green leaves and small white bulbs. While they don't form large, round onions like the ones we're used to today, they more than made up for it with flavor. Their mild, onion-like taste made them perfect for seasoning soups, stews, and broths, especially during the cold months when gardens were bare. These plants were often the first to emerge in spring and the last to fade in the fall, making them one of the few fresh green ingredients available during winter. In households across medieval Europe, just one or two Welsh onion plants could provide for a family for a decade or more. Farmers and cooks would cut the leaves, and the plant would keep growing, like nature's endless supply of seasoning. Their resilience and usefulness made them a staple in kitchen gardens and monastery plots alike. Over time, though, as modern agriculture favored annual crops and bigger, more uniform onions, Welsh onions fell out of favor. Today, they're mostly overlooked, but if you're looking for a low-maintenance, flavor-packed perennial to revive from the past, Welsh onions might be just the hidden treasure your garden needs. Fat hen. It may not have the flashiest name, but fat hen was once a superstar in the medieval world of food and survival. These days, gardeners call it a weed and pull it out without a second thought. But back in the Middle Ages, people knew better. This wild plant wasn't just edible. It was a nutritional powerhouse that often made the difference between hunger and a full belly. Fat hen, also known as Chenopodium album, grew freely and without effort. No planting required. It just showed up wherever the soil was disturbed. And rather than fight it, medieval farmers embraced it. The leaves were boiled and eaten like spinach, while the seeds could be dried, ground, and used as flour or porridge. Nothing went to waste. The entire plant had a purpose, making it a reliable food source for both peasants and the poor during lean times. What's truly remarkable is just how nutritious fat hen really is. Modern studies show it contains more protein, iron, calcium, and vitamin C than kale, spinach, or cabbage. In a time when diets lacked variety, this accidental crop helped fill the gaps, quietly preventing malnutrition and providing essential nutrients when nothing else would grow. It fed families, fueled workers, and grew in abundance, even in poor soil. Yet today, most people walk past it without a second glance, unaware of its history or value. Maybe it's time we rethink what we call a weed. Fat hen once helped entire communities survive. Perhaps it's ready for a revival in the age of superfoods. Lovage. Brought to Britain by the Romans, this tall, leafy herb was a true overachiever in both the kitchen and the apothecary. With a bold, celery-like flavor and a deep, earthy aroma, lovage wasn't just a seasoning, it was a plant with purpose. And the best part? Once you planted it, it could keep growing for 20 years or more. Lovage was a staple in medieval households, especially in monastery gardens where plants had to pull double duty, both as food and medicine. The leaves added a strong herbal punch to soups, stews, and broths, while the stems were often candied or used in pickles. Even the seeds were prized, used like celery seed to flavor breads, meats, and salads. Its bold flavor meant a little went a long way, making it perfect for stretching meals when ingredients were scarce. But lovage wasn't just about taste. It was considered a go-to herbal remedy for everything from indigestion to kidney issues. The roots were brewed into teas or tinctures to soothe inflammation, while the seeds helped ease bloating and stomach pain. It was the kind of plant you wanted in your garden when both your pantry and your medicine cabinet needed support. Despite its value, lovage eventually faded from everyday use. Milder herbs like parsley and modern celery took its place, and fewer gardeners knew how to care for or cook with it. Have you ever tasted any of these medieval superfoods? If so, what was your experience like? Corn salad. Don't let the name fool you. Corn salad has nothing to do with corn. In fact, this humble leafy green was once a treasured crop across Europe, especially during the long, lean winter months. While other greens faded with the cold, corn salad stepped up, offering a fresh, nutritious burst of green when people needed it most. It grew wild in grain fields, hence the confusing name, and became a go-to winter staple for farmers, monks, and home cooks alike. Corn salad, also known as mashi, has a mild, slightly nutty flavor and a soft texture that made it a perfect addition to cold weather meals. Unlike bitter greens or tough winter roots, it was delicate, yet hearty, and could be eaten raw in salads or lightly wilted into soups and stews. Best of all, it was loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin C, and beta-carotene, a true nutritional boost when fresh produce was hard to come by. Because it required little care and could grow in cool weather without a greenhouse, it became a dependable friend to anyone with access to a field or garden. But as commercial farming took hold, corn salad lost its place. Lettuces, which stored and shipped better, took over the market shelves. Corn salad became a quiet casualty of modern convenience. Tansy. In the wild world of medieval herbs, tansy was the one that never whispered. It shouted. Bold, bitter, and packed with over 40 distinct flavor compounds, this herb made a serious impression in every dish it touched. Cooks didn't just use it, they relied on it. Whether they were seasoning meats, flavoring sweet custards, or preserving food before refrigeration existed, tansy was their secret weapon. Tansy, with its feathery leaves and bright yellow button-like flowers, was a familiar sight in gardens and monastery grounds across Europe. Its flavor was sharp, almost peppery with hints of camphor, and definitely not for the faint of heart. It added punch to roasted meats, gave body to sauces, and was even baked into special Easter cakes and puddings. But its uses went far beyond flavor. In a time when food preservation was a constant struggle, tansy acted as a natural preservative, slowing spoilage with its potent oils. Medicinally, it was praised for everything from aiding digestion to repelling insects and parasites. Some even believed it could help treat fevers and cleanse the body. It wasn't just an herb, it was a multi-tool for survival. But as time went on, tastes changed. New herbs arrived with gentler, more versatile flavors. Think parsley, thyme, or sage. Compared to these, tansy was just too loud, too bitter, too intense for the modern palate. Slowly, it faded from kitchens and medicine chests alike. Sea kale. Imagine walking along a windy European shoreline and stumbling across a plant that once helped ward off scurvy, filled stomachs, and brought rich, earthy flavor to the table. That plant is sea kale, a rugged and resilient green that used to be a prized staple in coastal communities. Rich in vitamin C, adaptable in the kitchen, and tough enough to thrive in salty, sandy soil, sea kale was truly a gift from the sea, and it didn't even ask for much in return. Sea kale naturally grows along beaches and cliffs, where few other edibles dare to root. For centuries, locals harvested the young, pale shoots in early spring and cooked them just like asparagus. They were tender, slightly sweet, and had a hint of nuttiness that made them a seasonal delicacy. As the plant matured, its large bluish-green leaves were treated like cabbage, steamed, boiled, or chopped into hearty stews. Even the roots could be roasted, making sea kale a triple threat in the kitchen. It wasn't just a food, it was a lifesaver. During long winters and sea voyages, its high vitamin C content helped prevent scurvy and supported immune health, especially when fresh produce was scarce. It was easy to prepare, naturally abundant, and required no cultivation, just a bit of foraging along the coast. And yet, somehow, sea kale quietly disappeared from our plates. As industrial farming took over and inland vegetables dominated the markets, this beachside treasure was forgotten. Today, it still grows wild in the very places it once fed generations, but few people recognize it, let alone harvest it. Would you like to see more forgotten foods like these in grocery stores or farmers markets? Why or why not? Woad. Most people know woad as the plant behind the famous blue war paint worn by ancient warriors, but this deep-rooted herb was more than just medieval body art. Believe it or not, woad also fed people. While its claim to fame was the vibrant blue dye extracted from its leaves, a process that involved some impressively foul smells, its young, tender greens were once a welcome addition to springtime meals. In early spring, woad's first leaves would sprout, and folks in medieval Europe knew just what to do. Before the plant matured and took on its dye-producing toughness, those early greens were gathered and eaten, often tossed into fresh salads or lightly cooked like spinach. They had a mild, earthy flavor and offered a rare burst of green when winter stores were running low. It was a short window of time when this plant, best known for coloring clothes and warriors, also provided a little nourishment at the table. But once woad matured, it wasn't welcome near the kitchen. Turning it into blue dye involved fermentation, a stinky, messy process that smelled like something had gone horribly wrong. Dye makers often had their vats set far away from where people lived and ate. Still, the payoff was huge. That unmistakable blue color was in high demand. used in everything from peasant garments to noble robes. Woad's dual role in medieval life, as food and fashion, is a perfect example of how nothing went to waste. It filled bellies in the spring and wardrobes all year round. Today, it's mostly remembered for the dye, but maybe it's time to honor the other side of this plant's story, the one that helped feed people long before it colored their clothes. Turnip greens. When most people think of turnips, they picture the round white and purple roots. But in medieval times, it was the leafy tops, the turnip greens, that truly stole the show. These tender, flavorful leaves were just as important as the root itself, and in many households, they were the part people looked forward to most. Packed with vitamins A, C, and K, calcium, and iron, turnip greens were a nutritional powerhouse that fed both peasants and nobles alike. Turnips were one of the most widely grown vegetables in medieval Europe. Hardy and fast-growing, they were easy to plant and could be harvested throughout much of the year. But smart cooks and gardeners knew that wasting any part of the plant was out of the question. The greens were gathered regularly and tossed into soups, stews, porridges, or even boiled on their own, seasoned with a bit of fat or herbs. Their peppery flavor added depth to meals, and they kept people full and strong, especially during the lean winter months when other greens were scarce. Using both the root and the top was a lesson in efficiency and respect for the land. Nothing was wasted, and every part of the plant served a purpose. It's a habit we've mostly lost in today's world of pre-packaged produce and selective eating. Thank you for watching. To continue with more content, comment yes to let us know you're still following. Rampion. Before it became the name of a fairy tale princess, Rampion, also known as Campanula rapunculus, was a beloved staple in medieval gardens across Europe. This modest little plant packed a double punch. It offered edible roots and tasty leaves, making it a true two-for-one crop in a time when nothing went to waste. Rampion was especially common in monastery gardens, where monks valued plants that could feed and heal. The small white roots were slightly sweet, similar in taste and texture to radishes or young turnips. They were often eaten raw, for a crisp bite, or boiled in stews for a mild, earthy flavor. Meanwhile, the soft green leaves were enjoyed as salad greens or cooked like spinach, offering a gentle, slightly nutty taste that made them easy to work into daily meals. This plant wasn't just nutritious, it was beautiful too. With delicate, bell-shaped lavender flowers, Rampion added color to otherwise utilitarian garden plots. It grew easily, didn't demand much care, and provided a steady harvest from root to leaf. That made it ideal for self-sufficient communities, especially during times when trade and transport were unreliable. Horseradish. Today, horseradish might just be that zesty white paste next to your roast beef, but back in the Middle Ages, it was so much more. This powerful root was a kitchen essential and a medicine chest staple, bringing both flavor and healing to the medieval world. It was strong, it was spicy, and it definitely wasn't shy. Long before it was relegated to condiment status, horseradish was treated like a full-fledged root vegetable. People grated it fresh and stirred it into sauces, soups, and broths to add a sharp, nose-tingling kick to otherwise bland or boiled meals. Its intense flavor woke up tired winter dishes and added depth to preserved meats and root vegetable stews. But it wasn't just about taste. Horseradish had a job to do. In the cold, damp months, when respiratory illness was common and fresh produce scarce, horseradish earned its place as a natural remedy. Its strong vapors were known to clear stuffy noses and ease coughing, much like modern-day decongestants. It was also used to stimulate digestion, fight off infections, and even relieve joint pain when applied as a poultice. Medieval herbalists praised it for its heat and strength, often pairing it with honey or vinegar in homemade tonics. Horseradish was rugged, easy to grow, and able to survive harsh climates, a perfect companion for medieval gardens. Its roots could be harvested through the cold seasons and stored for months. So while we may know horseradish as a bold sidekick today, it was once the main attraction, a fiery, reliable root that fed, healed, and warmed up households when it mattered most. Maybe it's time to give it back some of that well-earned respect.
Food of slaves on plantations. Ever wonder how a cuisine born from scraps and hardship could become a symbol of cultural pride and celebration? Join us as we unravel the captivating story of soul food, a culinary journey that began in the shadow of slavery and blossomed into a vibrant expression of African-American resilience and creativity. Get ready to explore the surprising origins of your favorite comfort foods and discover how ingenuity and determination transformed adversity into a delicious legacy. Welcome to the fascinating world of soul food, where every bite tells a story. West and Central Africa culinary traditions. Let's journey back in time to explore the fascinating culinary heritage of West and Central Africa, the foundation upon which soul food was built. Yams, okra, black-eyed peas, and rice, these were the staples that nourished communities, the heart and soul of countless meals. Imagine the aromas wafting through the air as skilled cooks prepared one-pot stews, blending spices and palm oil into flavorful creations. These culinary traditions were more than just sustenance, they were expressions of culture, community, and creativity. They were brought across the Atlantic during the transatlantic slave trade, transforming and adapting to new landscapes and circumstances. This culinary legacy is a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of African people, a rich tapestry of flavors that continues to shape our foodways today. Understanding these roots helps us appreciate the depth and complexity of soul food, a cuisine born out of hardship yet brimming with flavor and cultural significance. It's a story of survival, adaptation, and the enduring power of food to connect us to our past. Adapting to America. Imagine the unimaginable, being torn from your homeland, your family, your entire way of life, and transported across the ocean into slavery. Yet, amidst the brutality and dehumanization, enslaved Africans carried with them something precious, their cultural knowledge, including their culinary traditions. Though stripped of their freedom, they refused to let their heritage be erased. They found ways to adapt their beloved dishes to the harsh realities of their new environment. With limited resources and unfamiliar ingredients, they ingeniously transformed scraps and cast-offs into meals that nourished both body and soul. This culinary adaptation was a testament to their resilience, their determination to hold on to their identity in the face of unimaginable adversity. It was a powerful act of resistance, a way of preserving the heritage for future generations. The food they created, born out of necessity and creativity, became a source of comfort, community, and cultural continuity. It laid the groundwork for what we now know as soul food, a cuisine that reflects the strength, perseverance, and enduring spirit of African Americans. Plantation rations. Life on plantations was a relentless cycle of labor and deprivation, with food rations designed to provide just enough sustenance to keep enslaved people working. Imagine being handed a meager portion of cornmeal, salted fish, and a few scraps of vegetables. That was often the entirety of a month's food allowance. Frederick Douglass, a powerful voice against slavery, described this stark reality in his autobiography, revealing how a mere 8 pounds of pork or fish and a single bushel of cornmeal were expected to sustain an adult for an entire month. These rations were barely enough to survive on, let alone thrive. The constant hunger gnawed at their bellies, a physical manifestation of the dehumanizing system they were trapped in. Despite these meager provisions, enslaved people found ways to make the most of what they had. They supplemented their rations with foraged foods, hunted game when possible, and cultivated small gardens whenever they could. Their resourcefulness and ingenuity in the face of such adversity speak volumes about their strength and determination. Their ability to create flavorful and nourishing meals from scraps and limited ingredients is a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. It's a reminder of the hardships they faced and the indomitable spirit that allowed them to persevere. Cabbage stew. Let's explore the humble yet flavorful world of cabbage stew, a dish that speaks volumes about the resourcefulness and culinary creativity of enslaved cooks. Cabbage stew is a testament to the ability to transform simple, readily available ingredients into a nourishing and satisfying meal, a skill honed out of necessity during challenging times. Imagine a steaming bowl of cabbage stew, its broth infused with the flavors of slow-cooked cabbage, often accompanied by other vegetables like potatoes, carrots, and onions. Smoked meats, like ham hocks or bacon, were often added to enhance the flavor and provide a bit of richness, a testament to the ingenuity of making the most of limited resources. Cabbage stew is a dish that embodies the spirit of soul food, making something delicious and nourishing from humble ingredients. It's a reminder of the resilience and creativity that have shaped African American culinary traditions, the ability to find flavor and comfort in even the most challenging circumstances. While not as widely known as some other soul food classics, cabbage stew still holds a special place in the hearts of many. You might find it on the menu at soul food restaurants, often as a daily special or a comforting addition to a larger meal. Black-eyed peas. Let's talk about black-eyed peas, a humble legume with a rich history and a special place in Southern cuisine, especially within the African American community. These little beans are more than just a tasty side dish. They're a symbol of hope, prosperity, and good luck, especially when enjoyed on New Year's Day. Imagine a bowl of creamy, flavorful black-eyed peas, often seasoned with a bit of smoky ham hock or bacon for extra richness. They're a simple dish, but one that carries a lot of meaning and tradition. The practice of eating black-eyed peas on New Year's Day for good luck dates back centuries, possibly originating in West Africa before making its way to the American South. For many, it's a way to start the year off on a positive note, with hopes for abundance and good fortune. If you're looking for a taste of this New Year's tradition, you can find black-eyed peas on menus at Southern diners and soul food restaurants all across the country. They're often served as a side dish, alongside collard greens, cornbread, and other soul food favorites. So, whether you're looking to embrace a time-honored tradition or simply enjoy a delicious and nutritious dish, black-eyed peas are a great choice. Have you ever tried cooking a traditional soul food recipe? We'd love to hear about your experiences and any tips you might have. Soul food today, the future. Let's explore the vibrant landscape of soul food today, its enduring legacy, and its evolution as it continues to nourish both body and soul. Imagine soul food restaurants across the nation, serving as culinary guardians of this rich tradition. These family-run establishments are more than just places to eat. They are living museums of African American food history, preserving recipes and cooking styles passed down through generations. However, the traditional richness of soul food, while undeniably delicious, has raised health concerns in recent times. The high fat, salt, and sugar content have been linked to health disparities within the African American community. This has sparked a movement towards healthier approaches to soul food preparation. Chefs and home cooks alike are embracing innovative techniques to retain the soulful flavors while reducing the reliance on unhealthy ingredients. Imagine smoked turkey lending its smoky essence to collard greens instead of pork, or the delightful crispness of baked chicken replacing its fried counterpart. Even as it evolves, soul food remains an integral part of African American culture, gracing tables at family reunions, church gatherings, and celebrations. The act of preparing and sharing this food strengthens community ties and deepens the connection to heritage. Soul food's influence extends beyond the African American community, its flavors and techniques becoming woven into the broader American culinary tapestry. Dishes like fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, and collard greens have become beloved by people of all backgrounds, a testament to the universal appeal of soul food. From its origins in the adversity of slavery to its vibrant presence today, soul food's journey is a remarkable testament to the human spirit's ability to create beauty and nourishment from hardship. As we conclude our exploration of soul food's remarkable journey, We hope you've gained a deeper appreciation for its rich history and cultural significance. From its humble beginnings in the face of adversity to its vibrant presence on tables today, soul food embodies resilience, creativity, and the enduring power of food to connect us to our heritage. If you're hungry for more culinary adventures, be sure to check out our other videos exploring the fascinating stories behind the food we love. Don't forget to subscribe and share Who Remembers with fellow food enthusiasts. Thank you for joining us on this flavorful journey. Greens. These leafy greens, packed with essential vitamins and minerals, became a cornerstone of their diet, supplementing the often inadequate rations provided by slaveholders. They understood the importance of these nutrient-rich vegetables, recognizing their ability to nourish and sustain their bodies. To enhance the flavor of these greens, enslaved cooks developed the ingenious method of cooking them with pork, infusing them with savory depth and richness. This culinary technique, born out of necessity and creativity, became a hallmark of soul food cooking, a testament to the transformative summer of flavor. Hoppin' John, a flavorful blend of black-eyed peas and rice, has roots that stretch back to both African and enslaved culinary traditions. For many enslaved Africans, rice was a familiar crop, cultivated in their homelands and brought with them across the Atlantic. Combined with black-eyed peas, a readily available and nutrient-rich legume, it became a cornerstone of their diet, providing sustenance and nourishment. This culinary creation not only provided a delicious and filling meal, but also gave rise to a cherished New Year's tradition. Eating black-eyed peas on New Year's Day became a symbol of hope and prosperity, a way to invite good fortune into the new year. This tradition, deeply rooted in the history of soul food, continues to be celebrated today, a testament to the enduring power of food to connect us to our past and shape our cultural practices. Sweet potato pie, often referred to as the sister to pumpkin pie, has roots in the abundant sweet potato crops of the South and the kitchens where enslaved cooks worked their culinary magic. These skilled cooks, drawing on their knowledge of European custard pies, ingeniously adapted the recipe, replacing pumpkin with a familiar and readily available sweet potato. The result was a culinary masterpiece, a uniquely African-American dessert that has become a beloved staple in soul food cuisine. Sweet potato pie, with its smooth, creamy filling and delicate crust, embodies the spirit of innovation and the ability to create something truly special from humble ingredients. Gumbo. Let's talk about gumbo, a beloved dish that embodies the diverse flavors and culinary traditions of the South. Gumbo is like a delicious melting pot, bringing together influences from Africa, France, and Spain. Imagine a rich, flavorful stew, often starting with a roux, a mix of fat and flour that gives it a wonderful texture. Okra, a vegetable with African roots, often stars in gumbo, adding its unique taste and a bit of a thickening magic. Andouille sausage, a spicy smoked sausage with French origins, brings a bold kick to the party. Seafood like shrimp, crab, or oysters contribute a sweet and savory flavor from the sea. Rice, a staple in many cultures, provides a comforting base, soaking up all those amazing flavors. The beauty of gumbo is that it can be different depending on who's making it and where it's from. Cajun gumbos from Louisiana might be spicy with seafood, while Creole gumbos might feature chicken and sausage. Each bowl tells a story of its own. In the South, you'll find gumbo on menus everywhere, but some places are especially famous for it. Commander's Palace in New Orleans, for example, is known for its elegant Creole cuisine, and their gumbo is a true standout. Fried chicken. Let's talk about fried chicken, a true icon of Southern cooking that's loved far and wide. Imagine crispy, golden brown skin giving way to juicy, tender meat, seasoned just right and bursting with flavor. Fried chicken is a dish that holds a special place in many cultures, but it's especially significant in African American cuisine, where it has a long and fascinating history. During times of hardship, enslaved people often had to make do with the less desirable cuts of meat, like chicken. But through their ingenuity and culinary skills, they transformed this simple ingredient into a culinary masterpiece. Fried chicken became a symbol of resourcefulness and celebration, a way to make the most of what they had and create something truly delicious. Today, you can find fried chicken on menus all over the South and beyond. But some places have become legendary for their versions of this classic dish. Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles in Los Angeles, for example, is a cultural landmark that celebrates the deep connection between fried chicken and African American culinary traditions. Their famous combination of crispy fried chicken and fluffy waffles is a testament to the enduring appeal of this dish and its ability to bring people together. Resourcefulness, adaptability. Despite the meager rations provided by slave owners, enslaved Africans demonstrated incredible resourcefulness and adaptability in finding ways to nourish themselves. Imagine them venturing into the woods, their eyes scanning the forest floor for edible plants, their hands carefully gathering wild greens like dandelion and pokeweed, which were often dismissed as mere weeds by their oppressors. They honed their hunting skills, trapping small game to add protein to their diets, and cast their lines into rivers and streams, hoping for a catch to supplement their meals. Those fortunate enough to have small garden plots poured their hearts into cultivating vegetables, these patches of land becoming oases of sustenance and symbols of resilience. Perhaps most striking was their ingenuity in transforming discarded animal parts into culinary treasures. Intestines, often tossed aside, were meticulously cleaned and transformed into chitterlings, while pigs' feet, ears, and tails became flavorful additions to their meals. This resourcefulness, born out of necessity, not only ensured their survival but also laid the foundation for many beloved soul food staples we enjoy today. Chitterlings. Let's delve into the fascinating history of chitterlings, a dish deeply rooted in the resourcefulness and culinary ingenuity of enslaved Africans. Imagine the meticulous process of cleaning and preparing pig intestines, transforming what was often discarded into a flavorful and nourishing meal. This labor-intensive task required skill and patience, as the intestines needed to be thoroughly cleaned and cooked to become edible. But the effort was well worth it, as chitterlings provided a valuable source of sustenance and flavor. Enslaved cooks, drawing on their culinary heritage, seasoned the chitterlings with herbs and spices, creating a savory dish that offered comfort and a taste of home. Over time, chitterlings became a staple in soul food, a testament to the ability of enslaved people to make the most of limited resources and transform them into culinary treasures. Today, chitterlings remain a cherished dish, particularly in the southern United States, where they are enjoyed as a connection to heritage and a celebration of African American culinary traditions. Ham hocks. Let's explore the culinary journey of ham hocks, another example of how enslaved Africans transformed overlooked ingredients into flavorful staples. Imagine the ham hock, the lower part of a pig's leg, often discarded by slaveholders due to its too fatty nature and lack of muscle. Yet, in the hands of resourceful cooks, this seemingly undesirable cut became a culinary gem. Enslaved people recognized the potential of ham hocks, understanding that their slow-cooked richness could elevate simple dishes to new heights. They simmered ham hocks for hours, extracting their deep, smoky flavor and infusing it into stews, soups, and greens. This practice became a cornerstone of Southern cooking, where ham hocks continue to play a starring role in traditional dishes like collard greens, black-eyed peas, and beans. The addition of a ham hock transforms these humble ingredients, adding a layer of savory depth and complexity that is both comforting and satisfying. It's a testament to the culinary ingenuity of enslaved people, who found ways to create delicious and flavorful meals from ingredients that others dismissed. Pig's feet. Let's continue our exploration of soul food's origins with pig's feet, another example of how enslaved cooks transformed seemingly undesirable cuts of meat into culinary treasures. Imagine the patience and skill required to transform these tough, bony appendages into tender, flavorful morsels. Enslaved people mastered the art of slow-cooking pig's feet, braising or boiling them for hours until the meat yielded to the fork. They expertly seasoned the pig's feet with a blend of spices and herbs, enhancing their flavor and creating a dish that was both satisfying and deeply flavorful. This culinary tradition took root in Southern and African American communities, where pig's feet continue to be enjoyed as a delicacy, a testament to the ingenuity and resourcefulness of those who came before us. Tripe. Our journey through the resourceful culinary traditions of enslaved Africans continues with tripe, the edible lining of a cow's stomach. Imagine this ingredient, often discarded by slave owners, becoming a source of nourishment and flavor in the hands of skilled cooks. Enslaved people recognized the potential of tripe, understanding that its unique texture and ability to absorb flavors could be harnessed to create delicious and satisfying meals. They developed techniques to tenderize the tripe, often slow cooking it for hours until it reached a palatable consistency. Tripe found its way into stews and soups, adding a rich, savory depth to these dishes. This culinary tradition transcended geographical boundaries, with tripe becoming a common ingredient in various cuisines around the world, including African and Latin American culinary traditions. It's a testament to the ingenuity and adaptability of enslaved cooks, who found ways to utilize every part of the animal and create flavorful dishes from ingredients that others overlooked. The importance of chickens. Let's explore the fascinating role chickens played in the lives of enslaved Africans, revealing a complex interplay of resourcefulness, resilience, and cultural significance. Imagine the small but powerful act of owning chickens, a seemingly minor allowance within the oppressive system of slavery that held profound implications. While denied ownership of larger livestock like cattle, enslaved people were often permitted to keep chickens. This seemingly insignificant concession had a profound impact on their diets and their ability to carve out a sliver of economic autonomy. Chickens, considered less valuable than other livestock, were seen as a way to reduce plantation costs by allowing enslaved individuals to supplement their own food supply. However, this minor allowance had a much deeper significance. The ability to raise and sell chickens and eggs provided a small but vital source of income, empowering enslaved people to purchase additional food, clothing, and in some cases, even contribute to their own freedom. This newfound economic freedom fueled a sense of pride and independence. Chicken, once a symbol of their limited means, transformed into a culinary centerpiece, gracing tables during Sunday dinners and church gatherings. Fried chicken, in particular, became a symbol of resourcefulness and culinary skill, a testament to their ability to create something delicious and celebratory from humble ingredients. This tradition continues to resonate today, with chicken holding a special place in soul food cuisine as a celebratory food, a reminder of the ingenuity and resilience of those who came before us. It's a story of how a seemingly small allowance sparked a culinary and cultural legacy that continues to nourish and inspire us today. Soul food, a cuisine born of struggle. Let's trace the evolution of soul food, a cuisine born out of struggle and resilience, as it transitioned from the plantations of the South to become a symbol of cultural pride and identity. Imagine the period following the Civil War, as formerly enslaved African Americans carried their culinary traditions with them, sharing their flavors and techniques with a wider audience. Many found work as cooks during Reconstruction, introducing their beloved dishes to new communities. Then, during the Great Migration of the 20th century, millions of African Americans journeyed from the rural South to urban centers in the North and West, bringing their culinary heritage along. Restaurants and food establishments sprung up, offering a taste of home and comfort to those who had left their roots behind. The term soul food emerged in the 1960s during the Black Power movement, a powerful declaration of cultural identity, and a celebration of a cuisine forged in the fires of adversity. It was about reclaiming a culinary heritage that had been denigrated and overlooked, transforming it into a source of pride and empowerment. Soul food became more than just sustenance. It became a symbol of resilience, a connection to history, and a delicious expression of African American identity. It was a way to honor the past, celebrate the present, and nourish the future. Today, soul food continues to be a source of comfort, community, and cultural pride, a testament to the enduring power of food to tell stories, connect generations, and celebrate the rich tapestry of human experience. It's a cuisine that invites us to savor not only its delicious flavors, but also the stories of struggle, resilience, and creativity that it embodies. Comment 1 if you enjoyed the content above. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to follow our videos. Thank you. Soul food classics. Let's take a closer look at some of the beloved classics that grace soul food tables, tracing their roots back to the ingenuity and resourcefulness of enslaved cooks in the antebellum South. Cornbread. Let's delve into the fascinating history of cornbread, a soul food staple with roots that stretch back to the ingenuity and resourcefulness of enslaved Africans. Imagine the simple yet profound act of creating ash cakes, a precursor to modern cornbread, cooked directly on hot stones or nestled in the warm ashes of a fire. These humble beginnings laid the foundation for the golden, crispy-edged cornbread we cherish today. Corn, a readily available grain, became a cornerstone of their diet, providing sustenance and nourishment. Enslaved cooks mastered the art of transforming cornmeal into a variety of dishes, including the simple yet satisfying ash cake. This culinary tradition evolved over time, with the introduction of cast iron cookware and ovens, allowing for the creation of the cornbread we know and love today. Its crumbly texture, subtle sweetness, and versatility as both a side dish and an ingredient in other recipes make it a beloved staple in soul food cuisine. Oxtails. Imagine the oxtail, the tail of cattle, once considered an undesirable cut of meat, becoming a cornerstone of soul food cuisine. Enslaved cooks recognized the hidden potential of these bony, high-fat appendages. They understood that with patience and slow cooking, the oxtail could be transformed into a culinary masterpiece. They simmered oxtails for hours, coaxing out their rich, savory flavors and tenderizing the meat until it fell off the bone. This culinary innovation gave rise to oxtail stew, a hearty and flavorful dish that has become a beloved staple in soul food. The oxtail stew represents the ability of enslaved people to transform humble ingredients into culinary treasures. It's a testament to their creativity, resourcefulness, and determination to find nourishment and flavor even in the face of adversity. Today, oxtail stew continues to be enjoyed across generations, a delicious reminder of the culinary legacy passed down through families and communities. Organ meats. Our exploration of soul food's origins takes us to the realm of organ meats, another example of how enslaved cooks transformed often overlooked ingredients into nourishing and flavorful dishes. Imagine the resourcefulness required to take organ meats like liver, kidneys, and heart, often included in the meager rations provided to enslaved people, and turn them into culinary creations. These nutrient-rich cuts, though sometimes viewed as less desirable, held the potential for delicious meals when prepared with skill and creativity. Enslaved cooks mastered techniques to tenderize and season organ meats, masking any strong flavors and enhancing their palatability. Liver and onions, for instance, became a popular dish that continues to be enjoyed in some African American households today. It's a testament to the culinary legacy passed down through generations, a reminder of the ability to find nourishment and flavor even in the most challenging circumstances. What's your favorite soul food dish, and what memories or feelings does it evoke for you? Share your culinary stories in the comments. Cooking methods, seasonings. Let's explore the ingenious cooking methods and vibrant seasonings that shaped the culinary landscape of enslaved Africans. Imagine a kitchen where resourcefulness reigned supreme, where making something out of nothing became a testament to resilience and creativity. The harsh realities of plantation life demanded efficiency, and one-pot meals rose to the occasion. Picture a single pot simmering over an open fire, transforming a few simple ingredients into a flavorful, filling stew, a culinary symphony where tough cuts of meat and vegetables dance together in harmony. This time-honored tradition, with roots deep in West African culinary heritage, became a cornerstone of soul food. Seasonings played a transformative role, elevating humble ingredients to new heights. Hot peppers ignited the palate, onions and garlic added layers of savory depth, and bacon grease or lard imparted richness and precious calories. These bold flavors were not merely a matter of taste. They were a necessity, a way to make the most of limited resources, and a powerful connection to the vibrant culinary traditions of their African homeland. This ingenuity and adaptability laid the foundation for the soul food we know and love today, a cuisine that celebrates resilience, creativity, and the enduring power of flavor to nourish both body and soul. It's a reminder that even in the face of adversity, the human spirit can find ways to create beauty, meaning, and deliciousness. Preservation techniques. Let's delve into the ingenious preservation techniques that played a crucial role in the culinary lives of enslaved Africans. Imagine the importance of making limited food supplies last, stretching them across seasons to ensure sustenance throughout the year. Smoking and salting became essential methods for preserving precious meats, while pickling transformed vegetables into flavorful, long-lasting additions to their diet. Drying herbs captured their essence, ensuring a touch of flavor could be added to meals even when fresh herbs were scarce. These preservation methods not only extended the life of their food, but also shaped the development of iconic soul food dishes like country ham and chow chow relish. At the heart of their culinary practices was the open hearth or fire pit, a source of warmth and the engine for creating flavorful meals. Cast iron cookware, especially the trusty Dutch oven, became an indispensable tool. These sturdy pots could withstand long hours of cooking, their heat-holding properties transforming tough cuts of meat into tender morsels. The versatility of cast iron, its ability to fry, bake, and stew, made it a cornerstone of soul food preparation. It's important to remember that these adaptations were not merely about survival. They were powerful acts of cultural preservation. By holding onto cooking methods from their homelands and ingeniously utilizing available ingredients, enslaved African Americans ensured their culinary traditions endured, even under the most oppressive circumstances.
From skirret to angelica, these 20 forgotten vegetables reveal the resourcefulness and wisdom of medieval life. They nourished generations with flavor, resilience, and healing power. Maybe it's time we brought these lost superfoods back into our gardens and onto our plates.